Frank. How are you?
All right, how are you?
Pretty good.
Ah,
I
great
don't
to hear
you
from
so
you.
well. Is there another line that's picked up?
Excuse me?
Is there another phone off the hook or something? Because I don't hear you very well.
Oh, you don't hear me? You hear me now?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, great. Now, I was on another line, and the other person that picked up the phone picked it up in the other room.
Uh-huh.
The new album's a killer.
Thanks.
I mean, really kicking.
Great. Thanks a lot.
You know, it sounds real good, and, you know, I just hope it does real well for you.
So do we.
And want to kick off the interview with, you played in a band called Mother Nature, Father Time.
Sure did.
What kind of music did you play?
That band, well, it started off being called Salt and Pepper in 1970, and then it went to Mother Nature, Father Time in the mid-70s, and then it changed. No, I'm sorry, it went to Creation in the mid-70s, and then the late 70s became Mother Nature, Father Time. And what happened is that in the early 70s, when we first started, it was top 40, but top 40 then was like every different type of music was all top 40 radio. So you could hear, you know, real heavy acid music, and you could also hear funk and ballads and everything else. Then mid-70s, we started moving more towards the R&B. Hello?
Oh, okay.
See, the phone was off the hook.
The phone was off the hook.
Thank
I'm
you.
sorry.
Okay. So we started moving, you know, more towards the R&B in the mid-70s, and then in the, like, 77, 78, like that, we started doing disco exclusively. And we became a disco band.
Oh, really?
And one of the best, too. We were good, man. We kicked ass.
Did you really?
Oh, we were great. Whatever we played. We had, you know, the 6 people in the band, 6-part harmony. Everybody sang leads. You know, we used to switch the instruments. I mean, I would play bass in some songs and guitar in some songs. It was cool.
Wow.
Yeah, it was a great band.
Any tapes of that floating around? I haven't seen any.
No, you would never, because they would just be tapes that were made, you know, like by me when we did certain gigs. I do have some tapes around, but they've been through floods and stuff like that, so I don't even know if they're playable anymore.
Yeah, because you'd be surprised of the stuff that that surfaces amongst Kiss
I know.
fans, you know?
I know. You see, the problem with my stuff is that it was just a club band, and it was so long ago now that, you know, the people that may have even known, that may have even been there and seen me play are probably old or dead by now, you know?
Yeah.
So they took it with them, you know? Forget it.
Moving right along here. So you were with the band about 10 years.
Yeah.
That same band, just under the different names.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, it was 9 years, and we decided to call it quits in about like November, October, whatever, of '79, and I joined this my first rock band, first real rock band that I was ever in. It was a copy rock band, and you know, we did Van Halen, and we did the Clash, and we did the Cars, and we did the Who, and we did Led Zeppelin, and we did all this fucking, you know, AC/DC, everything. It was great, and I was in that band for about 5 months. And I have a tape of that. The band was called Flasher.
Flasher?
Yeah, and we played around in Queens a lot, you know, just a little clubs and stuff. And it was a 4-piece band, but after about 3 months, the keyboard player left, and we went on as a 3-piece. And I ran into the keyboard player a couple of months later. You know, this is how I got into Kiss's story, and just happened to run into him by accident at a club that I was going to play in the next night. And I invited him down, and he was the one that told me about the auditions for Kiss the next night. Wow. So if it wasn't that I ran into this guy, I would have never even known it.
Really?
Oh, yeah. It was a freak accident that I ran into him.
God, and what a great accident it was.
Yeah, no kidding. I know.
You know?
Uh-huh.
When you were chosen for the drum spot in the band,
uh-huh.
what was your first thoughts that ran through your mind, besides having to quit fixing gas ranges?
Yeah, where's the men's room is probably my first thought. No, I don't know. It's impossible. You know, I just knew. It's like, I've told this story so many times, and it's real hard to, you know, to just express what I really felt. I never felt so strong about anything ever before or since then. I knew from the time that I called and I started working up the demo tape and getting the resume and everything together, I just had a feeling that I was going to get it. And then especially when I auditioned for them, I just knew it, that I was going to get it. So by the time that I found out that they wanted to, you know, continue rehearsing with me, it was like it wasn't even that much of a surprise. I just knew it. I knew I was going to get it. Obviously, I was excited.
Yeah.
I was really happy. I guess it was probably so overwhelming that I didn't realize how in shock I was. You know, and that's basically it. I just knew it was going to happen to me.
That's great.
Yeah.
Well, we're all glad it happened.
Thanks.
And between the time span between joining the band and your first gig was 2 weeks.
No, it
Is
was
that
longer.
approximate?
No, it's longer than that.
Longer than that?
Well, yeah, because I auditioned for them, I think, sometime in June. So I think we had something like a month, 3 weeks, maybe a month before the first gig.
Yeah.
There wasn't a hell of a lot of time, but it was more than a week. There was no way that we could have gotten the stage and gotten me learning the songs and gotten a costume for me in 1 week.
Yeah.
But it was very, very tight.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Yeah.
Did you design your own makeup? And
I did, yeah.
You did?
Oh, yeah, don't you know what this... Come on, man, don't you know these stories?
I want to hear them from you.
Okay, yeah.
You know?
No, what actually happened is that, as everyone knows now, they wanted me to be Chicken Man. Or actually, they wanted me to be a hawk.
The hawk, yeah.
Yeah, and, when Peter left, it's like... at that point, it was anybody's suggestion. If a kid walking down the street came in and suggested something, they would listen to him, because nobody ever really had thought that they would be replacing somebody in the band, so nobody was prepared. It's like, oh shit, what do? We need a new character, So when I joined, their idea was for me to be a hawk, a bird of prey, and we tried, all during this time, the 3 weeks, a month, whatever, to come up with hawk makeup. I was trying every kind of idea I could come up with. Just using like lots of different colors on my face, but it just made it look like Zulu warrior makeup, And oh yeah, so it wasn't happening, Meanwhile, there was a costume designed for me, which was yellow for I don't know why, but it was like a orange yellow, like like the San Diego chicken, and it was a yellow tights covered by a padded chest thing, and then another padded chest thing with yellow feathers on it, and then a vest with yellow feathers on it, and then a big giant cape, something like the cape that Gene used to wear,
right.
With yellow feathers on it, and the gloves and everything else, Yeah. And the only thing that was missing was the beak and the big clawed feet, But it was hysterical because I remember I'm standing there in the costume place, and Bill Coyne and Paul is there, and they're putting this stuff on me, and I'm saying to myself, man, this is like nuts. But I guess they know what they're doing. I guess they know better than I do about this. But this looks ridiculous to me. And luckily for me, Paul and Bill were thinking the same thing at the same time. And they realized that it was ridiculous. But as far as the makeup is concerned, I was in the dressing room of the Palladium. Gene was sitting across the room, and I was still sketching faces on a sketch pad. And I came with this idea, and I knew even before, I showed it to Gene what he was going to say, because I had made up my mind what it looked like. And I said, hey, Gene, what do you think of this? And he goes, interesting. And I said, but it looks like a fox, right? He goes, yeah. And then it was like, the light bulbs went off in our heads. Instantly, that just seemed to be it. And from that second on, that was it, the fox.
Wow.
Yeah. And then, of course, I changed it, after that one Palladium show.
Yeah.
You
altered your makeup a bit, yeah.
Yeah. It was, I wouldn't say drastic, but it was enough. I mean, adding the white up the center and making the black smaller all around, it just made it a lot better than it was.
Well, you also had the silver.
I had the silver around the edge, too. Yeah, it was just too much, But I wore it that night for that one show and on the People magazine cover, and after that was it.
That had to blow you away.
Yeah.
I mean, to go from clubs to stadiums, it had to be mind-blowing.
It was interesting, to say the least.
How did you keep yourself sane,
Yeah, no, it was interesting. I mean, I don't know, I sometimes I want to say, oh man, I was like this and I was like excited, but I mean, I was all excited, but I had been playing in front of people for so long.
Yeah.
All I was concerned about is that I'm going to go out there and do the best that I can, and either the kids are going to like me or they're going to hate me, but it's not going to be my fault, because I'm going to do the best I can. So I just went out there, and it's like, what are you going to do, get scared when the solo's coming up and the drum riser's moving forward, and you're going to say, no, I can't do it, I can't play?
Yeah.
That's bullshit. I mean, I said, fuck it, I'm out here. I have no choice. I have to bust my ass now, and I have to prove something to these people. And I did my best.
Were you accepted at first by fans?
Yes.
I did, and I know a lot of other people
thanks.
did.
I don't know what the what the kids may have said when they weren't at the shows and stuff like that, but I prepared myself for the worst. And it never happened. And that's an honest to God truth. It never happened. I expected to see kids in Peter's makeup, which I have for years. I still see it sometimes in the shows.
Yeah.
But then it was great because then I started seeing my makeup.
Absolutely.
So that was cool. I said, holy shit, that's telling me something right there. But the kids never, I shouldn't even say kids, but the fans, they never really, it didn't happen. They were with me 100%. I think a lot of it just has to do with the fact that KISS fans are so loyal. They were thinking, hey, we may not understand what you guys are doing, but we're glad that the band is still together. And if Eric is good enough for you, then he's good enough for us.
Yeah.
So it was great.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
I hear you like sports cars.
I do?
Yeah.
Who told you that?
Well, Bernie told me.
Oh, Bernie, of course. She's the expert in me. No, it's all right. I'm kidding. I have a Porsche 924 that the band gave me for that first Christmas when I joined.
Yeah.
And I still drive that. And
You still have it?
Yeah.
Yeah. How many times did it turn over?
It's never turned over. Oh, you mean the speedometer?
The odometer?
Yeah. Believe it or not, I'm only about like 78,000 miles or something like that on it.
Really?
Yeah, it's never turned over.
Wow.
I've almost flipped it over a few times, the car, but not the odometer.
Pulling another race, huh?
Not intentionally, but there was a period of time where I was doing that stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What are you driving now? I mean.
Same car.
Same car?
I'm in the city now, so I haven't, it's upstate at my dad's house, but I still use the same car. I've wanted to get rid of it for a long time, but it's just like the retail on it isn't that much. The resale value at this point of those cars is not tremendously high, and it's just so much sentimental value for me. I just wouldn't feel right getting rid of it,
Yeah.
So if I do get another car, I'll still have it. I'm going to keep it up there as like an antique. I'll have Gene Paul and Bruce autograph it or something, I don't know.
Well, if you do, send us a picture.
Yeah, okay.
Getting to the Elder, which I think is a masterpiece.
Thanks.
And
what is it all of a sudden now that everyone's getting into the Elder?
I don't know. I've always, I was talking to a staffer the other day, and it's like everybody was so down on the Elder, and I loved the album.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, after Unmasked, which be perfectly honest with you, I didn't care for that album at all.
Yeah, a lot of fans didn't.
And the Elder was like, wow, this is great. It's a story. It sounds good. I mean, and now all of a sudden, everybody, like you just said, everybody's into the
It's like
Elder.
rediscovering it, all of a sudden.
Was there ever a tour planned for that in support of that album?
There was, I don't know if actually there was a tour. I didn't hear anybody say a tour, but it kind of like, stands to reason that there would be a tour. There certainly was a plan to hopefully do a movie.
Yeah.
And maybe a part 2 of the score, but all of that stuff was only dependent on how the album did. If an album doesn't do well and it's a score for a film, why do the film?
Yeah.
It just doesn't make sense. I mean, the fans are telling you for whatever reason that this is not necessarily their cup of tea, so you're going to give them a movie with the same music, and it doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
So that we just kind of said, okay, well, this we did it and it's done and we have to move on.
Yeah. I just got it on CD. I just completed my whole entire Kiss collection.
Oh, wow.
On CD.
Uh-huh.
It took me a year and a half, but what I was waiting for was the Elder.
Uh-huh.
And it sounds excellent.
Great.
And I just wish I had the opportunity to see you play with the band in makeup.
Yeah.
I didn't, the Creatures tour did not come by this through this area here. And why did they cut that short due to poor ticket sales, didn't they?
Probably. That's probably what it was, yeah. Someone asked me this yesterday, and I didn't really remember, but I'm sure that's probably what it was, because, just the whole situation with the band at that point, with Peter having left and then doing the Elder, which really confused everybody. The band was not at the highest, point in the career of the band at that point. So even though we were kicking ass on that tour, and Creatures of the Night is a great album, still my favorite.
Yeah.
It just the profile of the band wasn't in a really high spot at that point, and that's probably what happened.
Yeah. Now you've played 7 tours with Kiss now, correct?
Gee, I don't know. You know better than me.
All right, it's 7. What's the craziest incident that ever happened to you on the road?
The craziest incident?
The craziest incident.
Well, there's been a few, but I can't tell you. I can't tell you those things.
They all happen to us, whether we're rock bands or not. But
I know.
What's the I don't know, the craziest thing, non-sexually thing that happened?
The scariest thing that happened?
The scariest thing.
All right, well, the scariest thing definitely by far was, I don't know, well, crazy is like one thing. The scariest thing that happened was I think it was in Milan on the first European tour.
Uh-huh.
And we had played, we were getting ready to go on. We were playing an outdoor soccer stadium, and the dressing rooms are like in these catacombs, like underground, under the field, like where the football players or whatever the soccer players would be. So we're walking, getting ready to go on stage. We're walking down these long corridors underground. We're getting ready to go up this long flight of stairways that leads up to the grass, and then we have to climb another flight of stairs up to the stage, right?
Right.
So we're walking, you know, we're all in costumes and makeup and the platforms and all that. And all of a sudden our tour manager, George Stewart, comes running down, you know, go back, run, you know. And what had happened is that there was about 50 or 60 skinheads in the front line, the front row, and they had broken through the barricade and they were trying to charge downstairs, yelling "Kiss fascistes," you know, calling us fascists and all this stuff, because Italy is very, you know, politically violent, and I guess we represented capitalism, you know, at its worst or best, however you want to look at it. Anyway, so we ran, and they barricaded us in the dressing room. This was like with no other way out, because you're underground and you have concrete walls 3 feet thick around you. And these guys, it's like we were terrified because there was no way to protect us. If the guys had broken through and gotten us, there was no way out. We were scared shit. And we were lucky because somebody stood up in front of the guys when they charged downstairs. He knew karate, and he apparently, like, you know, broke a couple of arms and put somebody's eye out, or, you know, broke a nose here and there, and stopped them.
Wow. But
we were shitting. I mean, Ace talked about this story too in an interview recently too. It was the most scared I've ever been. Well, not the most scared, but with Kiss, it's the most scared I've ever been. And that wasn't fun at all. And then we still went out and did the show. A funny part of that though is Gene, you know, whenever we were walking around like off stage or on stage in those days, you know, he would always be kind of like dragging along, you know, and we'd always say, come on, move your ass, you know, come on, let's go. I can't run in these boots. I can't run with all this stuff. He ran so fast, he beat all of us when he was running back into the dressing room. It was forget about how much costume he had on. You know, he flew. We always tease him about that.
Oh God, that is a good story. Though.
Yeah.
It's scary, but it's funny though.
Oh, well, that part of it was funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, but we were just locked in there. We were just looking at each other. I mean, every one of us looked like, you know, scared rabbits because we were scared shit. Because we realized it was like if they broke through there, that was it.
Yeah.
There was no way out. We would have been killed.
Holy shit. Never heard that one.
Yeah. Well, it's been around from time to time, but you know, hasn't gotten widespread play.
Yeah. I call your official singing debut on Hot in the Shade. Why did it take 10 years with the band?
I think we wanted to wait until we had an album that was good enough for my voice to be heard on it. No, I'm kidding.
I'm like, what?
Yeah, I know, I'm just kidding. No, you know, I don't really know. I just think it was a matter of the timing was right, you know, for it. I mean, and, you know, I always have to tell people this when they ask me this question. It's not like, you know, people I know have the idea sometimes that, you know, Gene and Paul don't want me to sing, and, you know, they wouldn't let me do this, and that's not true, because it's always basically been up to me. You know, I've brought a lot of material to the band over the years, and the band has used some of the stuff that I've written. Other people have used it, and then other material has not been used. But that goes the same with Gene and with Bruce and with Vinny and with, you know, whoever, and with Paul. It's the same situation. So what I try to make people understand is that I think if I had come up with something that was completed, or, you know, that sounded really, really cool, and I had a good idea for a vocal on it years ago, you know, and it sounded right for us, it would have been on the album.
Yeah.
But, you know, just for one reason or another, it just wasn't the right timing. This particular one, the song that I brought, you know, Little Caesar, the track that I brought to Gene seemed to fit with what we were doing, although I didn't think it would at first. I just let him hear it, actually, as a joke, because I brought a couple of other tunes. I put a great ballad to the album also. That's called Somebody's Waiting. But Paul's ballad, you know, the Forever, was just so much better that, you know, it didn't make any sense. So, but, you know, I just brought that song to Gene and let him hear it as like, oh, by the way, what do you think of this too? And he loved that, and it was right for the album, and just the way we were doing this album and what we wanted to try and achieve with this was the right time for me to finally do a vocal.
Yeah.
You know, I know it's a long answer, but that's basically it.
No, well, that's your answer.
Yeah, that's the answer. You know, so I think it's a cool song. I'm really, really happy with the way it turned out overall. There's a couple of things I probably would have changed, maybe here and there, but I'm real happy with my performance. I'm happy with the arrangement, and, you know, and the way it finally sounds, and I think it's cool. I just hope that everybody likes it.
It kicks ass. It does.
Thanks.
I mean, when that song comes on, you know, on my stereo on CD, man, it's up. You know, the whole album's up.
Yeah.
I mean, the whole album, it's different, but it's still Kiss.
Yeah.
You know, it's just I don't know. I don't know how to explain it. You know.
It's all right. You don't have to. not necessary.
Yeah. Were you hesitant about redoing the vocals for Beth?
Yeah.
Were you?
Yeah, at first, you know, because I was real flattered that they offered, you know, that they asked me to do it. I mean, my first reaction was to say yes. You know, wow, yeah, great, let me do it.
Yeah.
But then I thought about it, and I started to worry that that people would, you know, take offense against me, and I certainly didn't want to do that. You know, I certainly didn't want fans being angry at me, as though I committed sacrilege or something, you know, because it's one of those kind of songs where people that know it, you know, you're so used to hearing it one way. It's like I was talking about this yesterday. It's like if you redid Stairway to Heaven.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, you may get somebody to sing a great job on it, but everyone that's ever heard that song knows the vocal only one way, and if you hear anything different, it's not going to sound good. You know, you're used to hearing Plant sing it that way.
Right.
People were used to hearing Peter sing Beth that way. So I was afraid that, you know, no matter how good a performance I did, people just wouldn't accept it. But, you know, I'm glad I did it. The reaction, same as when I joined the band, I didn't get all the negative stuff. You know, maybe fans were being kind and didn't tell me, but I get fan letters all the time. Everyone's always told me how great it sounded. I'm happy with the way I sang it. I think I did a really good job.
I think you did an excellent job, and a lot of fans think that you should have done that in the first place.
Well, if I was around, I would have been glad to do it.
Yeah,
I wasn't there.
That's what we talk about, you know. I mean, if anybody, if it came to Peter or an Eric singing, Eric should have been the one to sing it.
Yeah, well, I appreciate
if that song would have popped up at this day and age.
Well, yeah, it's a good song, you know. There was even talk about maybe releasing it as a single again.
Yeah.
But you know, I think that would probably cause a little bit too many problems or whatever. But you know, I'm happy with what I did. I basically just re-sang it. Re-sang it in a smoother voice.
Yeah.
You know, I did Peter's version in a smoother voice. That's all I did.
And you did it with the same tapes.
Yeah. Yeah, you heard that. I was going to tell you that. Yeah.
Yeah.
And in the same room.
Same studio. Yeah.
The same room, not the same studio, the same room.
Oh, same room.
Yeah, not just like, you know, he did it at Record Plant. It wasn't just the same record plant. It was the same room that he originally sang it in. For all I know, it might have been the same stool that he sat on, and the same sandwich that he was eating too.
Yeah. Wow. I hope you didn't eat it.
No, I didn't. It didn't look too appetizing.
No.
But you know, I was happy with it.
No, fan reaction was really great.
So I just want to thank him.
A lot of people are down on Peter right now.
Well,
and but that's, you know.
You know, I mean, I don't want to get too much into that, but I'm sure Peter has some legitimate gripes, and Ace, you know, Paul and Gene have legitimate gripes.
Yeah.
And it's just, you know, it's real difficult because you don't want to really hear that kind of stuff, and it's unfortunate that Peter feels the need to do that.
Yeah.
You know, because it really doesn't help any, and it just makes everybody look bad.
Yeah.
You know, but I hope you know all this stuff works out for him and he can get himself together and do something. You know, because there are a lot of people out there that love him.
Yeah. There's quite a few people out there that love him. How long did it take to record "Hot in the Shade"?
Let's see. Actually, from June 24th or something like that to sometime in August, June, July, about 2 months.
About 2 months?
Yeah, about 2 months to do the whole thing, and then about, you know, a few weeks for mixing and stuff like that.
Yeah.
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 You know, we don't usually take a lot of time in the studio. We come in really prepared.
Spend a lot of time rehearsing for the album?
Actually, no.
No?
Actually, no. No, the way this was interesting this time because there was supposed to be some rehearsal, and then as it turned out, we just didn't rehearse. But you know, I listened to tapes, and you know, and I got the feel of what Paul wanted and what Gene wanted on the songs. And then we'd get in the studio, and as I would go through them, you know, we'd make changes, or I'd add stuff, or you know, someone would suggest something, which is the way we always work. But at least this time, there was more. Things were more complete when we went in. There were a lot more things that were more complete than there usually are.
Yeah.
You know, and that's not just us. It's a lot of bands. You start recording an album, and you might have 1 or 2 songs written, and you know the writing is going on all during the recording. Or you might have all the music written, and you'll have all these tracks recorded, and then you still haven't written the songs yet.
Yeah.
You know, so that I mean, most bands are like that.
Yeah.
Most bands are like that. It's real difficult to just have all the songs that you want, the perfect combination of songs ready at the same time for an album. You know, and then you got to remember also that new songs come up as you're working.
Sure.
Something that you thought was great may not sound so good anymore, and somebody may come up with a really cool song. Like Little Caesar came out of nowhere.
Yeah.
You know, and that worked for the album. So if we had locked into the 15 songs or 14 beforehand, that song would have never made it on there.
Wow.
But it was just too good to let it go.
Bruce, Rick, Paul, and Gene. Do you all four of you guys vote on what songs that are used on the album? You hear a lot of talk about, well, Gene and Paul decide, make decisions.
They do in effect, yeah, sure they do. But what happened? Everyone always is offering their opinions about things all the time, and even if let's say if it's been decided that song A or song B is going to be on the album, it becomes apparent at one point or another if maybe the song isn't cutting it, and then we'll all speak up about that, and everyone gives their opinions and their feelings about it. They say, I don't really think this is really happening anymore. Maybe we should dump it and go somewhere else.
Yeah.
So it's their decision mainly, but we all have input onto what finally winds up on the album.
Okay.
And as I said, if somebody comes up with something better, someone will drop a song.
Yeah.
And it's that simple.
Yeah, also, in between questions here, I'd like to take the opportunity to thank you guys for putting us all on the liner notes.
That's all right. It's our pleasure.
That was a real, that just did a lot for us,
Mm-hmm.
It was like, oh man, that feels great,
Well, look, I've been saying this to everyone that's, been saying that to me. Without you guys, we couldn't be here.
Yeah.
We can't do it if we don't have people out there that want to listen to us. So, we owe you. That was our way of saying thanks, that we know who you are, and we appreciate what you're doing, and, we just wanted to say thanks to all the fans.
Yeah.
And especially, people like yourself that are doing the fanzines and really, really showing how much, that you really care about the band by doing that.
Yeah. I've been a fan for 14 years,
wow.
And I thought it was time that I do something,
Mm-hmm.
And it's just a lot of fun doing it. It's
cool.
a lot of fun. Kiss is heading to the UK in January, correct?
No.
No?
No, as of this point, the schedule has changed, and we're going to start in the United States in February instead.
Ah, great. I'm happy. You don't have any dates booked yet?
Not really absolutely set yet, but it'll probably be in mid to southwest that we'll begin.
Mid to southwest.
Yeah.
Big show this time?
Yeah, really big, over the top. This is going to be harkening back to the old Kiss shows, the kind of stuff that people remember Kiss doing. It's not going to look like the old Kiss stages, but for sheer size and effect and a lot of great lighting things and a lot of surprises that are going to be happening, it's going to seem, like the kind of Kiss show that everybody has been waiting for a long time.
Yeah. Yeah, because we were up at Z100 and we heard Paul talking about it over on the... and thanks for signing my sweatshirt.
Who, me?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't even remember.
You were mobbed, that's
I
why.
know. It was just a sea of shoulders and hands. That's all I could see.
When are you going to do your drum instructional tape?
It's a good question. I don't know. I don't know. For one reason or another, I keep putting it off, and I wish I could answer that, What'll happen is that all of a sudden I'll have some time, and I'll say, fuck it, I want to do it now, and I'll get it done in 1 week. But it only took me, 2 years to get myself in gear to do it.
Yeah.
So it will get done. It will get done. That's all I can say.
Yeah.
Eventually it'll get done.
How about your Rockheads?
That is still, again, I've been really close to deals a couple of times, and for one reason or another, it just didn't seem the right thing to do. So I'm still plugging away at it.
Yeah.
I'm still writing music for it, still creating plot lines and all that stuff, still writing, and still shopping it around. But at this present time, nothing definite. So the only thing I can say for sure is that it will eventually happen, and when you see it, you'll know it's mine right away.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Great. We've all been waiting for this,
Me too.
When's
Me
Eric's
more
drum
than anybody.
instructional tape?
What?
When's Eric's drum instructional tape going to come out? When's the Rockheads
I
going to
know.
come out?
I know. I've been asking myself that question for 2 years now.
You check Saturday morning TV listenings. Now Rockheads in there.
Yeah, really. No, you read it in Metal Edge or something. You wouldn't have to look in the TV guide. You read it in Metal Edge that the Rockets would start. But it's as I said, these kind of things take a real long time to do it, and I'm not into the animation industry, so I'm doing the best I can to try and pull it together. But it's a totally new experience for me.
Yeah.
And to get the right people involved, to get them to understand what you're really trying to do, and to commit themselves is a little difficult sometimes.
Yeah.
But it's a great idea, and it's going to happen.
Good. That's great.
Mm-hmm.
What equipment do you use in the studio?
Ludwig drums. Well, what you mean, in the bedroom or on stage?
On stage.
I see.
What's your set consist of?
Drums.
You need to be
Drums and cymbals.
Drums
Yeah,
and cymbals.
lots of drums and cymbals. That's more specific. No, I think my kit was up to something like 26 pieces total right now.
Really?
Yeah. There's the three double-length bass drums. You've got, I think, 11 rack toms from 6-inch to 16-inch, I think it is. There are 2 floor toms. You got a snare drum. You have 2 hi-hats. You've got about 5 crash cymbals of different sizes: a china, a ride cymbal, 4 rototoms, 6-inch to 12-inch, and a cowbell, and 6 roll-in pads, electronic pads that I use, in my solo.
Yeah, that's great. I love that.
Thanks.
Yeah, that is so cool.
Thanks. Yeah, I got another idea. Actually, I did try it on the Crazy Nights tour in the very beginning of the tour, but I didn't have time enough before we started doing the shows to really work it out. So after about 2 weeks of doing it, I just dropped that part of it, went back to the other stuff. But I want to do more of the electronic stuff, more of the musical stuff this year.
Yeah.
Instead of just the drums, because, there's only so much drums you can hear, and it all pretty much starts to sound the same after a while. But with the musical thing, you can create whatever you want because it's still pretty new.
Yeah.
So I have more ideas for that.
Great.
Yep.
It's going to be bonus.
Yep.
This is a question you're probably all the original members getting back together for a reunion garbage.
Who knows?
Who knows?
Yeah, I can say yes and I can say no, but either one of those answers is not definite.
Yeah.
I would guess that it's always a possibility. It's as whether it's going to happen like right away. No.
No.
But anything is possible.
Yeah.
Anything really is possible. I don't know what I'll be doing. I'll probably be being sound man or something during that show. But I was with Peter's roadie. I don't know what I'm going to do. But that's all possible.
Yeah.
That really is.
That was the big thing about 2 years ago.
Well, I mean,
and I personally don't want to see it happen.
Well, why?
All 4 original members getting together?
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to see it happen.
Really?
That's the past.
Yeah. Well, I wanted to know. That's why I'm asking you.
Yeah. No, I don't want to see it happen.
How would you feel? How would you feel about Ace, Gene, and Paul with me in makeup? Still the same?
See, you were
right.
You've been in the band longer than Peter has.
Right.
And then I feel bad for Bruce.
Yeah, that's true too.
But yeah. I would accept the fact with you being in the band with Gene.
All right. I mean, I'm just curious about this because I never have asked anybody these questions. Would you feel less? In other words, you don't want to see the original 4 together because that's the past, and I can understand that. Would you be more interested in seeing, 3 with me makeup, or is that still kind of like the past and you'd like to drop that? Tell me honestly. I want to know.
Just Eric and just you and Gene and Paul.
And Ace.
And Ace.
Yeah. In other words, instead of having the 4 original, have 3 original and me.
Sure. Yeah, I could deal with that. Yeah, I think that would be great. I never saw the 3 of you guys together with all of you with makeup.
Right.
But I don't want to see Kiss 1970.
Right, I understand that. Yeah.
And as far as all this, there was all kinds of garbage flying around about it, and it's like people were like, Kiss has been around for such a long time. They've gone through the worst.
Yeah.
And they've gone through a totally image change. That's all gone.
Right.
And they've maintained Kiss. The only band I know that can overcome so many problems, change their whole image, and still stay on top, even though there was ruts there.
Right.
And ruts happen in every band. Look at Aerosmith.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, they had their ruts too.
True. That's true.
But no, I would. If the 4 got together, I wouldn't be happy with it. But I mean, if you and Ace and...
All right, interesting. Yeah, let's move on. I was just curious, that's all. No, honestly, I was curious because I've never really asked somebody that.
Yeah, it's just... I didn't want to ask you that question.
That's okay.
But I thought, well, no, I'm gonna ask him. And
it doesn't bother me.
Yeah, it doesn't bother me then.
It doesn't bother me. I mean, if it's going to happen, I would worry about it when it happened. But it's not something that I'm gonna lose sleep over. And I understand, what the history of the band and all that, but, at this point, I have no idea if anything like that would happen.
Yeah. There's even a bubblegum card of you.
What?
There's even a bubblegum card of you.
You're kidding?
Makeup. No.
In makeup?
In makeup.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
I never saw, not the chew bops.
No, no, no.
That was, oh no, Chew Bops were those little records. You ever see those?
Yeah, I have an unmasked one, but I've never...
Yeah. That was the only time they ever did it. I thought those were real cool.
And
there
you
was
on that one?
There was a Kiss bubblegum card of me?
Yeah. Remember?
Holy shit.
Yeah, I was at the convention. The guy was charging $8 for it.
Uh-huh.
But next time, I'll pick you up one.
All right, well, you know, just take a photo of it and send it to me. I want to see it.
Yeah.
You know? I mean, you sure it's like authentic, or did this kid just make it himself?
It looked authentic.
Really?
Me. Yeah.
Huh.
And supposedly they came out in Australia.
Wow, that's probably, okay. That's probably why.
Yeah, but they're here in the States.
Wow.
But if I see one, I'll pick you up one and send it to you.
All right, sure.
No biggie.
Thanks.
You know? But, God. So,
okay, more questions.
Are you guys exposed, too?
Mm-hmm.
It's going to happen.
Yeah.
Are you guys going to be more involved in it?
Only if the monkey doesn't show up. Because if the monkey shows up, man, I'm going to the beach. That's all I can say. Who wants to be in a video when you can go to the beach with a monkey?
Yeah.
I ask you.
A lot of fans were disappointed with Exposed.
Why?
Because, well, we were. I wasn't disappointed with the fact that I saw a lot of the old footage.
Yeah, that's great stuff.
That was great stuff. But it was just like, God, don't tell Gene and Paul any of this. But it,
we already told them. So don't worry about it.
You know, it's like, where's that? You know, Eric's running down the steps chasing this girl.
Yeah.
And how I would like to be in that predicament. But
that girl was so big. She was huge.
Yeah?
Oh, man, she was, I don't know, 6'3" or 6'4", something like that. It was ridiculous. Mm-hmm.
But, we're sitting there, we're watching this, like, what happened to Eric and Bruce, you know?
Yeah.
You guys are just as much a part of the band as they are.
I understand.
Yeah.
I understand. And the next one should be a bit different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I hope so.
Thanks.
You know, I mean, oh, God. Video Forever?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah, we're doing 2 videos next week. We're doing Rise to It and Forever.
Mm.
I think Forever is the first one we're going to do.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're 2 really good songs. I like Rise to It a lot. It's so weird because it's a pretty straight-ahead rocker. But for some reason, it's one of my favorite songs. I don't know what it is. It just feels good.
I like the guitar intro.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's so cool.
Yeah.
Will Bruce be doing that live?
That's actually Paul, you know.
Is that Paul playing?
Yeah.
No shit.
Well, as far as I know, because I saw him doing it, maybe they wound up having Bruce do it, but as far as I know, that was Paul.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
No shit.
Could be, you know, could be both, could be neither. I don't know.
Yeah. I just hope you guys all do this live.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, I don't, you know, it's too soon to decide what songs we're going to do live. We'd probably certainly do Hide Your Heart.
Yeah.
I would like to do Little Caesar, you know, that would be cool, so I'd have my lead. But, you know, at this point, we haven't even decided to pick what we're going to pick from the new album yet.
Yeah.
But we are trying to work on a totally new set this time.
Yeah. That's what everybody's been saying, you know.
Yeah.
That's basically the word.
Uh-huh.
I wanted to ask you, I think a Diamond.
I don't know. You know, I would like to.
Yeah.
I would like to do that also, you know, because that's certainly one of the Kiss classic songs, you know.
Yeah.
And that always went over well live, and I enjoyed doing it. So anything is possible at this point.
Yeah. I'm moving on here, right?
We still have 15 minutes, so ask away.
Off the top of my head.
Well, if you're done,
what
then
did you
you're
have for dinner last night?
Last night? What did I have for dinner last night? I didn't eat dinner last night.
You didn't eat?
No.
No?
No, I'm getting ready for the video, man.
Oh.
Gotta slim down. No, actually, I think I just didn't eat. I think I ate lunch yesterday. That's what it was, and I didn't eat dinner.
So you're gonna shoot both videos back to back?
Yeah.
Any theme?
I'm sorry?
Any theme to it? You know, like Hide Your Heart, like there was a...
It's very different, yeah. Yeah, they're both videos. I mean, there's a couple of concepts that we're throwing around yet. I don't want to discuss them yet. There's one of them's got a really cool thing that'll be in it. But at this point, well, you know, what I can say is that they're going to be more like Hide Your Heart. There's not going to be a lot of dancing girls, you know, and G-string, you know, asses hanging out all over the place. Although I love them,
yeah.
But it's going to be much more of the band.
Yeah.
You know, more band videos, which I think is great.
Yeah. Yeah, I always liked.
Which one? From Asylum, Tears Are Falling.
No.
Oh, Thrills in the Night.
No.
The live thing.
No.
All Night.
No, that was from Analyze.
Wait, Thrills in the Night? Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
See, that's how much I remember. Okay, from Asylum?
The Nurses.
Wait, Crazy Nights? No. Oh, the one with the nurses? That's All Night, I think, isn't it?
Oh, All Night, yeah.
Yeah.
I love that one.
I've never even seen that video.
You've never seen it?
Never seen it. No.
Wow.
Never
I've
even seen it.
about 1,000 times.
Yeah. Yeah. The what?
The Crazy Nights.
Yeah.
The 3 videos. Why wasn't there something extra put on that? Many fans felt ripped off.
Really?
Yeah.
I have no answer for that.
No.
You know, it wasn't my decision to do it, and I have no answer for that.
Okay.
I don't. You know, I couldn't
yeah,
even.
Hey, you know.
No, I don't even know what to say because I wasn't involved in it, so
Yeah.
I really don't know what to say about it.
It's like a record company thing, I guess.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. Do you guys have any plans to go to Europe?
Well,
After
originally we were supposed to start this tour in Europe. You know, we will do Europe. I mean, that's kind of like unavoidable, but it'll come after the States this time.
Yeah.
So it'll probably, you know, August or something, August, September of next year.
Yeah.
And then, you know, depending on how the album's been doing in Japan, we'll go there, and, you know, we'll probably try and do Australia. We were supposed to do it this year, but that got blown off.
Yeah.
And we'll try it again next year.
Yeah, great.
Mm-hmm.
That was your first trip to Japan, wasn't it?
I'm sorry? Yeah, it was Japan.
On Crazy Nights?
Yeah, the Kiss hadn't been there in 11 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Was it this Kiss hysteria as
It was probably, you know, a good percentage of the way it was when Kiss first came over, but I'm sure it wasn't anywhere near the same as it was when they first came over.
Yeah.
The same way, like in Australia, if we go back there again, it won't be anything like it. It'll be great, but it won't be anything like it was when we first went there.
Yeah.
Because those kind of things sometimes, you know, it's like a once-in-a-lifetime thing, you know.
Yeah.
It's like when the Beatles first came to New York. You know, I know it's before your time, but when they first, it was the same thing, you know, the keys to the city and hysteria and thousands of kids outside the hotels day or night, you know, all that shit. And those kind of things, unfortunately, they sometimes just happen once and that's it.
Yeah.
You know? So, but Japan was great. Japan was really unusual because everywhere else I've been, you know, at least even if you don't understand what the words mean, you can at least understand the letters that they use to write the words. But in Japan, you know, it's their alphabet, so you don't understand anything.
Yeah.
It's really scary to be out on the street, and if you're lost, you can't even look at a street sign to figure out where you are because it's in Japanese.
Yeah.
You know, you really, like, you're on your own. You really are.
What's the nightlife over there?
It's good.
Is it?
Yeah, it's really good there. We didn't go out to too many different places. We kind of went to the places that most rock bands would go, you know, when they're in, like, Tokyo, which namely is the place where all the models go, you know, like all the international models. That's where we went. That's like the hip place to go, you know.
Yeah.
And it was okay. That club could have been anywhere in the world. Any big city has clubs like that.
Yeah.
You know.
Absolutely.
With the same people in it too.
Are you doing any outside projects with Kiss, producing or?
Well, yeah, I'm always open to do that. You know, for a while I was getting a lot of tapes when I first started saying in interviews that I wanted to produce, and there were a couple of bands that I was working with, you know, kind of like just on the outskirts of, but unfortunately I've still not found a band where I really, really wanted to stick my ass out and say, I really want to try and work with this, you know, and put together something and then, you know, bring it to a record company and see what they say.
Yeah.
And it's real hard because there's a lot of good people out there, and, you know, when I listen to stuff that's sent to me, I mean, I listen to it with the most open ears and mind that I can,
right.
You know, because I don't want to prejudge people, you know, because it's just my opinion if the stuff is good or not. But you kind of can tell, you know, sometimes if it's just okay or if it's really lousy or if there really is something there, and that's really hard to find.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I certainly would go down there if like somebody told me you got to see this band, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, I would do that. As a matter of fact, if you told me, you know, if you hear of a band that you think I might be interested in, you should call the office and, you know, tell them to get in touch with me.
Yeah.
Enough, at least give me, you know, a week or a few days in advance notice. I can make it down there. Hold on a second.
Sure.
Hello?
Hello.
Yeah, it's all right. I'm going to have to go.
Okay.
Because I've got something urgent coming up.
Well, it was great talking to you, Eric.
Okay, thanks,
And
Frank.
I'll see you on tour.
All right, man.
All right, take it easy, buddy.
Take care.